I'm not sure how you like your waffles, but I think USC likes them from Princeton, New Jersey, about 6'5", 245. Talk about that and much more here on the Student Body Right USC podcast.
Welcome to the Put On Waivers Media Group, home of the Put On Raiders podcast and the Student Body Right podcast. This is your place for the best breakdowns and the best insight for those who fight on and bleed silver and black. Now, here are your hosts, Dwayne Douglas and Ryan Holmes.
All right, back on the Student Body Right USC podcast. Dwayne Douglas here, PORSBR is my Twitter handle. So check me out there. Also check me out on Big Sky and Blue Sky, and also Threads. And you got we're Put On Waivers podcast Put On Waivers _ podcast on Instagram. So do that as well. USC out here blazing new trails here with this recruiting class. The number is now up to 30. We'll talk about that. But first, the number one corner who had to choose between Texas A&M and Oregon, Brandon Arrington chose Texas A&M over Oregon. So he's going to Texas. So that was a highly touted cornerback going to the Aggies. But we're here to talk about USC. Taloni Ely from Hawaii, 6'3", 215. Just that prototypical big time linebacker that USC has been missing. They get that guy now. He is committed to USC. It was between USC and UCLA. Is that really a choice in football? Not really a choice in football. So Ely comes home. We talked about it in his commitment video and how he wanted to bring USC back to prominence, and that's where that's kind of the common thread you're seeing with a lot of the LA kids, a lot of the West Coast kids. Like, they have sold them on bringing USC back, putting USC back on the map, making that Trojan helmet the gold standard, if you will. As far as bringing USC where they need to be. Just a great job by SC here in this whole front office. I know Chad Bowden is going to be getting a lot of praise, but I think even Chad Bowden would say, like, it's a team effort. You've even heard some of these guys talk about different members of his staff are the reason why they chose SC over other programs. So, good job. I mean, you can't get any better than that. As far as that goes. Defensive line, you see it in National Football League. Defensive line, you see it in high school football, you see it in college football. Those are the squads that end up winning the whole thing. Those are the squads who are in contention every year, the teams that have the guys in the trenches. So for a long time, USC was, lacking these guys in the trenches. And then now they don't. But with this new class, you talk about getting Pepe, you talk about getting Winfield, all these guys, all these different, guys from all over the country, and a lot of the guys locked down from the West Coast. And now part of the defensive line is when you earn the right to rush the passer on third down, you gotta have quality edge. And that's where Luke Wafle comes in from Princeton, from Princeton, New Jersey. A guy who has all the tools to be a fantastic edge player in Danton Lynn's defense. He's going to be tutored by Coach Henney and all the other folks there. And he's just he's a prototypical edge. And now he's part of this class as well. The 30th commitment in 2026. For the USC Trojans. It's just absolutely just fucking crazy how they're getting this done. I think, for years and years and years when we were losing out on these guys, you would hear like, we got stuffed in the locker by Oregon, got stuffed in the locker by Ohio State, got stuffed in the locker by Notre Dame, all this other stuff like that. Like they've been able to kind of do, obviously, lock down California, but when they leave the state of California, they're hitting home runs. And this class, I'm not going to say they didn't need Wafle, because you always need edge rushers. But if USC didn't get Wafle, it wouldn't have been the end of the world if they didn't get him. it wouldn't have been in the world. It still got 20. They would still have 29 recruits, some really good guys on the defensive line. But when you say and you talk the talk that that Chad Bowden has, and he's keep telling everybody that we're coming and we're doing all these things, he's just not playing around. He's not playing games, and he's doing whatever he can to to bring in all the stars. I mean, he talks about that scissor song, "All the Stars." Like that's what he's doing. That's what he's bringing to Los Angeles here. I mean, this is a star-studded, like every guy. I mean, all these highly touted, recruits. And this is what SC is all about. This is what having the stars all over the place is why we're SC fans, why the Coliseum used to be. When we watch those old videos of the Pete Carroll days, that's why you couldn't even see an empty seat in the stadium. And now I think right now I think USC is headed back to that, and it starts with this season. I think obviously I listen. I like Lincoln Riley more than most. I will attest to that. I like him as a coach. I think he is the right guy for this job. But now he's in a situation where, like, put this team in a 9-3 situation, a 10-2 situation, and in 2025, and they can really take off with the strength and conditioning situation they have, with the new facilities they're building. Like everything is come into fruition for the USC Trojans, and you couldn't, if you're a USC fan, this is. I mean, just go down this list. I mean, this list is it's vast. It's just big bodies after big bodies. A lot of great athletes here. Just so many. Interior offensive linemen, interior defensive linemen, edge, like all these guys, the amount of depth they have on both sides of the ball here, and their cornerbacks, the wide receivers, the running backs, they just have everything you could possibly need to bring, a championship caliber squad back to Los Angeles. But the number one thing is the trenches. And the number one thing is the trenches. And as long as USC is still it just remains doing the trench work and getting the trenches figured out and getting the offensive line so they can move it, so we can run the football in the Big Ten. Also stopping the run in the Big Ten. And then all of a sudden now you got your big defensive lineman, chasing the quarterback around on third and long. That's football. That's football. And that's what you need to have to be, to be a top program. And USC is it looks like they're headed back in that direction here. So Student Body Right USC podcast, just talking about Talini Ely and then Luke Wafle, the two latest commits to this star-studded 2026 class. Everybody's going to say, oh, USC's paying for this. USC, how are they paying for this after the house settlement, all this other stuff like that. Number one, USC's been preparing during this whole time. And they are going to be, as far as with Chad Bowden being there, they're going to be steps ahead. They're not going to be step behind. This isn't the Clay Helton era. This is not all the other foolishness. This is them being on the forefront of everything instead of behind the eight ball as they have been in the past. So enjoy it. Of course, in this class, you might see a couple guys get picked off, but for the most part, USC done Chad Bowden, when he was at Notre Dame, did a tremendous job of retention, and I expect that to continue here with the Trojans going into his tenure as general manager. All right, Student Body Right USC podcast. We'll see you next time. We'll talk a little about Lincoln Riley and what to expect from him into 2026, and we'll start doing the position groups for 2025. We can start in the secondary. We'll start at safety. Because I like their veteran safeties that USC has coming into the 2025 season. All right, folks. See you next time. And as always, fight on.